Hey, you guys, welcome back to the YTP Mini. I'm Jess. I'm here with BJ, and I'm also here with podcast guest 103. And we just
Whoa.
launched 203. So that means 100 episodes ago, we had Nastasha McKeon on, and she is back. 2 years
Yay.
ago, we had you in our house telling such an epic tale. I mean, that conversation is definitely one of my favorites. I was actually revisiting even the blog post that I wrote about it, and it brought me back to that day when you were just telling us these amazing stories and all the risk that you took. And it wasn't pretty, and it was super
No.
scary. But now you're really sitting in this place where you're able to serve people during this virus that is,
Yeah.
it's spanning the globe. So tell us about Choice
Yeah.
and where you've gone in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I was just thinking about this the other day. We're about to celebrate our 6 year anniversary of being in business. And I thought, what an interesting time to be celebrating 6 years in business, right? With what's going on in the world today. Such a fascinating time for sure. But yeah, we're still here. We're still going. We have all six locations still open to this day, and we haven't had to let go of a single employee, which has been incredible. We've definitely, like everybody else in the industry, seen a big hit. There's no foot traffic, there's no tourism. So that's always like the icing on the cake for, restaurant businesses. But for us, because we're set up a little bit differently, we're a lifestyle brand. We really tailor to those everyday guests, those everyday users that come in, because they, are looking for healthy options on the go. And so we're still doing that. We still have, that bread and butter is still there for us. Those people coming in every day supporting us. We're seeing a lot less foot traffic, but we're seeing when people come in, they're stocking up. They're getting more juice. They're getting, our bread products. They're getting things like that to take home. Treating it more of like a grocery visit. Stocking up for the week or two so that they don't have to venture out again. So we've been really blessed in that sense. But gosh, I can't believe it's been 2 years since we spoke. Has it really been 2 years?
Yeah, it was
That's
like
wild.
April 30th, 2018 is when we launched it. So yeah, it's probably been 2 years since we actually sat down and had the conversation.
Wow. To this day, I feel like that's still my absolute favorite interview that I've ever been on. I think you guys served me some raw cacao you like scraped right off of the
Right.
thing, and we were sitting there just talking and just having this incredible conversation. At some point, you're like, I think we should hit record,
Yeah,
and
that
it
sounds
was
about
just
right.
it was so much fun. But yeah, so the last 2 years, it feels like a whirlwind. We gosh, where I'm trying to think of how many locations we had when we spoke the last time. I think we probably had at least three locations. We probably had Carlsbad Village, Solana Beach, and Del Sur, and maybe had Little Italy in the works already. But we
You
got
had
that
I
one
think it
something
was in
in
the
Okay,
work. We
cool.
you
had
had
something in
something
the
in the
works.
works. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Little Italy got opened up, and then it was funny. I told this story at our company Christmas party this last year. It was 2018. We were opening up Little Italy, and I always get a little overly ambitious when I'm doing things. It's kind of my nature, and so we were opening up Little Italy, and before we really like broke ground, and I started jumping into permitting and the build out and the contractors and like all of that stuff. And I was like, gosh, we've been opening a store a year since we opened. And I was like, next year I want to open up two stores in a year. It's like, let's up the bar. And it was so funny because after I got through opening up Little Italy, it was a disaster. Like, it was tough. Opening a store downtown San Diego is a little bit different. The permitting process is different. The working with the contractors was different. Just hiring was different. Everything was different. It was just totally out of our typical, area. It added a huge commute for me that I didn't really factor in when I was like, yes, we'll go there. They need a juice place like Choice. So it was a lot more than I think I expected or really realized I was biting off at the time. And so it was funny because I think after we were done building it out, I was like, pump the brakes. Let's take a year off of opening stores. So 2019, that was okay, we're going to take a break. We're not going to open these stores this year. And then the universe had already heard me speak. It was too late. I had said early on, I wanted to do two stores that year. So I got a call actually from one of our, I don't like to use the word competitor because they were in the same industry. That's like the word that people would maybe call them. But I think that we're all on the same mission. One more juice place is one less McDonald's in the world. So, they were another juice business that was in the industry that was actually really high integrity like us, one of the last ones standing. Most people have, transitioned away from doing high quality juice. And so, they're pasteurizing and they're doing all these other things, diluting their juices. And they were the last ones in San Diego. So it's devastating to get the call from them that they were shutting their doors. But on the other hand, it was a really cool opportunity because they wanted to hand it to us. They were like, hey, do you want to take over these locations? And so I was like, oh gosh, I looked at my team and they're like, you're going to say yes. You always say yes to these things. So just may as well go ahead and do it. We'll figure it out. They've learned by now. I say yes and then I figure it out later, jump and then figure out how I'm going to fly. So anyways, we said yes. And that was our Encinitas location. And then our Carlsbad Gateway location. That location was fascinating because we were also saying yes to getting rid of our other commercial kitchen in Vista and moving that entire operation over to a much larger kitchen, which, if you want to grow, you're going to need a bigger kitchen at some point. So we said yes to that. And then it also was an opportunity to open up a retail location at our commercial kitchen, which we've never been able to really do. So that was really exciting. And so we said, yeah, so we added 2 locations at the end of last year. I think I got the keys October 1st. And by November 11th, I had opened up 2 new locations, fully remodeled, rebuilt, staffed up, stocked up, and opened the doors. It was crazy. So we figured it out.
And that's such an amazing location. We've been there because of that row. That row has Prager Brothers and Happy Pantry
and Happy Pantry. And yeah, it's such a cool little community. It's such a unique center. I was like, and it's been kind of an incubator for some really successful businesses. Like Bitch and Sauce started in that center until they outgrew it. They didn't have a big enough kitchen or facility to house them anymore. So a lot of really cool places like Prager Brothers, as you mentioned, started there. Now they're opening up another location. And so it's been a really cool center, and it's fun to be in that mix with all those tenants and a lot of just great collaborations coming out of that and stuff like that. So it's been really fun. It's a really cool center to be a part of for sure.
Well, I don't know if you're going to get to this, but I want to know how the Super Loaf came about too.
I love that question. Yes, I love talking about that. Thank you for asking that.
Yes.
Okay, so it's been in the works for probably 2 years. 2 years ago, I said, I want to do avocado toast at the stores. I want people to think of us more of like an organic cafe. We're not just juice. We have food, but I feel like not everybody gets excited about salads like I do. So it's like, I want to do like an avocado toast, right? But it was like, okay, we got to find a bread that's in alignment with our nutritional philosophy. So it has to be gluten-free. It has to be organic certified, and it has to be vegan. And so good luck. I ordered breads from all over the country. I was like, I'll ship this stuff in. It was not even a thought in my mind that I wanted to get into making bread. I just wanted good bread, I stopped eating bread forever ago because it's really hard for me to find good bread. I don't do well with gluten. I will definitely splurge. I'm not going to lie and eat Prager Brothers every now and again because I love Prager Brothers and I love to support them. I love what they do. But my body prefers, a more gluten-free environment. So, and a lot of the gluten-free breads out there, they have terrible ingredients. They're like loaded with all kinds of preservatives and, fillers and just all kinds of junk. And then the ones that aren't even vegan. They have like egg and other things in them. So I struggled really hard. I think I found 2 loaves in the entire country that fit into the nutritional philosophy, but they either tasted like cardboard or I couldn't get behind the ingredients, all the way. And so I was working with a restaurant consultant at the time, and he is always like, okay, Nastasha, what do you want to do next? And he's taking notes. And a few months in, he's like, so what happened to that avocado toast? Where are we at with that? And I was like, well, we're dead in the water. There's no gluten-free, organic, vegan bread out there. I tried them all. I brought in all these different breads. It just doesn't exist. And he was like, well, then you have to make it. I was like, what? I don't know how to make bread. Like the extent of my baking is like muffins and cookies and the pastries we have a choice, but I'm not a baker. And that's kind of chemistry, and I'm definitely not a chemist either. So we ended up bringing on this guy. He's like this 86-year-old baker who has been baking his whole life. His family came from like the Texas Toast Company. His like grandma started Texas Toast, or grandpa or someone like that. So the guy's like an old school baker, but he doesn't know anything about gluten-free, vegan, plant-based, anything. So he and I worked together. It was a collaborative effort. We even like brought in people like Prager Brothers to like give us a little advice here and there when we couldn't get it to rise, or, so it was like we were mad scientists in the kitchen just trying to figure it out. And I was a stickler about the ingredients. I wanted to have protein. I wanted it to have omegas, iron, fiber. I wanted it to be like nutrition, bread often is, wheat and yeast and flour, and water. It's like, it's like, there's not really a lot of nutrition in that. And so you usually put nutrition inside of the 2 pieces of bread, and then you eat your sandwich or whatever it is that you're eating. But I was like, why can't bread be good for you? Why can't we make it so that the bread is actually your nutrition? Like, eat your bread. It's like eating your vitamins, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew what I wanted in there, and together we worked and we created this recipe, and it was so good that it was like, okay, we can't just make avocado toast on this. Like, we've got to sell this bread. Like, people need this bread in their lives. It's amazing. We joke about the slogan being, you can eat bread again. But yeah, so that's kind of how it came about. It was just like one of those things, we saw a need and it came out of something that I wanted to enjoy myself, and there was a need that we needed to fill. It wasn't being filled. And so we invented a new product.
It's so incredibly good. We just had some friends move here, and that was part of their housewarming present, was giving them a loaf
present. You guys are amazing.
Of the Super Loaf. And I think it's safe to say it's probably the best loaf of organic, gluten-free bread in the country. Would you agree?
Thank you so much. I am a little biased, but I would agree.
It's insane. So yes, anybody that comes out on our retreats or comes to our training camp, they will definitely be experiencing the Super Loaf. Yeah, we had it in the fridges for our training camp in February.
Oh my gosh, that's
crazy
amazing.
over it.
But I've literally with triathletes and stuff. I mean, you guys have to pack in the nutrition, so how amazing.
And something that's going to be easy in the body, so we can go out and we can train, and we're not
it doesn't weigh me down.
Yeah, like, exactly.
You can actually do a solid workout within 30 minutes of eating that toast.
Absolutely.
If you can get yourself away from the oven, because I've literally been eating a piece and putting more in, eating those, putting more in.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's so good. All right, so as these podcasts go so quickly, but I
know, darn it.
We'll have to have you back for a full length.
I would love that. I miss
That'd
you guys.
That'd be so fun. Your business is doing well. You're really putting beautiful food and vibration and love into the world. I know that because I know your brand and I know you personally. But there's a lot of people out there who are really scared right now, and they're really in a state of suffering with the unknown, wishing for another now, which I think is just one of the toughest. I've been there. It's like one of the toughest things to really experience. And so, what are some things that people can do, on a daily basis that can can show them that they actually have peace and calm inside already?
Absolutely. I think that's such a great topic. One of the biggest things, I mean, you guys come to Choice all the time. You see the writing on our stands on our floor, on the back of our shirts, on our walls, choose happiness, right? And I think that, it's really easy to choose happiness when life is going your way. It's a lot harder to do it when things seem to be out of our control, right? And we don't know what's happening. We don't know when things are going to go back to normal, if they'll go back to normal. I mean, talk about a hard time to choose happiness, but I think that's the best time to choose happiness personally. I get excited about the opportunity to really practice the things that I teach and that I've learned. And to me, it's like, this is such a huge opportunity to really step into trusting and surrendering, and we don't need to always have it all figured out. We don't know. I mean, even today, as I sit here, I don't know that I'm going to be able to continue to keep every store open. I don't know that I'm going to be able to, keep going in the same capacity that I'm going. We've definitely seen a hit to sales. We don't know if it's going to continue to go down and down and down, if it's going to go down and bounce up. We don't know, we don't have all the answers, but here I am still sitting here smiling and choosing happiness, because I'm going to surrender and just trust in the process. It's kind of like, when something terrible happens, right? It's like, it's normal to feel sad or upset for a period of time. But when you stay in that, it's like saying yes to suffering. You get cut, you feel pain. But when you focus on the pain, you're now suffering. The reality is that focusing on the pain is not going to change the situation. Focusing on the fear and the anxiety and the unknown is not going to change the fact that we're all in the situation. Let's focus on the fact that we're all in it together. Let's focus on staying positive and filling our cups up with the things that we have control over. Control the controllables. I know I can control things going on in my home, right? I can, when I'm locked up at night and I can't go anywhere or do anything, it's like, what can I control there? Well, I have access to the internet. How incredible is that? I can pull up tutorials and learn how to play guitar, which I'm actually doing right now. I can practice I was taking salsa lessons before this all started, and I can still practice that at home on my own. Like, there's things that I can control that help me to kind of come back into the present moment. When we get too far into the unknown future, or we start comparing the past with today, that's where I think we kind of get a little bit off beat. I think it's important to just stay present with today. How are we today? Do you have toilet paper today? Good. Do you have food in your cupboards today? Good. Are you healthy today? Good. Like, let's focus on the things that we can celebrate today in the present moment today versus getting ourselves, too far out into the future, because we don't know. None of us know. We're all in that together.
Yeah. And I think the three of us can agree that we have taken such risk in our life that it's almost like it's like the scariest times in my life have prepared me for this.
Absolutely. And I think we had this conversation last time I was on your podcast about like that 6 months in, that moment where it was like, I thought everything was going to come crashing down. And it was one of the scariest times of my life. But when I got through all the crying and all the fear and all the anxiety, what was left was gratitude. And for me, it was like, wow, I'm so lucky that I got to live this dream. And if it all crashes and burns next week, I got to do this. I'm so lucky. I'm so grateful. And from that place, things really started to shift for me. And I came to head to that same, thing when this all kind of came to, just happened overnight. Restaurants have to close their doors, and, people are going out of business, and oh my gosh, it was like I came face to face with that same fear that I haven't felt, in 5.5 years when this all started. And I was like, could this end us? Could this all be over? Could this all crash and burn? And at the end of the day, the answer, I don't know. Could it? Yes, maybe. I don't know. But what I do know is that I have lived my dream for the last 6 years. I'm so incredibly blessed. I could cry, and I might actually change the subject here. But like I could actually cry tears of gratitude, because I feel so blessed that I got to do something I truly believed in. I got to serve my community food that I believe is making their lives better, making our environment better. Animals aren't complaining about it. We're doing good work here, and I got to do that. Not everyone gets to do that with their lives. And I feel so blessed for that. And I'll do that every day for the rest of my life, as long as I'm allowed. And when I stop being allowed, I'm going to live in gratitude for the fact that I got the opportunity to do that, because not everybody gets to go after that, take those risks and say yes to the unknown and throw themselves out there and figure out how to make it work. And so I feel like I've had that opportunity to kind of come face to face with that again through all of this, and I'm still sitting here. I still don't have all the answers. I still don't know how it's all going to go, but I'm so grateful for today. I'm so grateful that I got to show up to work today, and I got to serve a lot of people organic food that's going to make them healthier through this crazy time. And that feels really good. And I'd rather stay with that than worry about what if. What am I going to do next? What if this doesn't work out? What if we have to close the store? I'd rather just stay here today, right now, and plan for the future. Be smart. Obviously, we're applying for all the SBA loans and all the things that you can do as a business owner to try to hedge yourself and protect yourself against those potential losses. So I'm not just like, ignorance is bliss. I'm thinking about those things. I'm planning for those things, but I'm emotionally staying in the place of the present moment and choosing happiness in this moment.
Perfect. Perfectly
Amazing.
said. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for dropping in and dropping the wisdom. We appreciate it. I know the community will appreciate it, and they'll love to hear your beautiful voice again. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's such an honor. I love hanging out with you guys. I love chatting with you. It's such a blessing. Thank you for having me on.